So we've got our original image here, and here we are. So as we can see, going to be working on the lips down here. Now it's lighter over here, and we got a shadow over here, and so but I want this to always go that way, so I'm going to blue this out a little bit. So I'm going to be using a lighter blue color, but I don't want this. This is way too blue. So let's see. Maybe not that. Maybe a lilac. Maybe a little lilac over here. Just real lightly, just a little lilac. Okay? That'll help push that away from you. It'll still stay nice and warm right around this lip area here. Okay, now let's switch back to our nice warm colors. Okay, now right around the lip area here, we know that the lips always have a lot more blood to them, so they're always much warmer right in this area. So we're definitely going to need to use more of our, so we're going to have our blush, and let's have our salmon and our crimson. Okay, and then I think I'm going to have our burnt ochre for this area over here that's a little bit more of a darker area. Now I'm not going to do this real dark area yet. That'll be on one of our later colors. Okay, so let's have a little more of a blush down here more towards where the lips get started. Okay, there we go. Blend towards that purple a little bit, so we don't have quite such a purple. Okay, so there's that. And then here, this is the salmon, so we're going to work this salmon up in here, because she does have a pretty good yellow cast to her face. No, I'm getting too much help here. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I think I'm going to need a little more of my blush, because we can see some of this blush coming back in over here by her cheeks, up in here. So little incremental color shifts on the face. Incremental color shifts, not big things. And remember, we're still doing just real light things. We're not pushing down hard yet. And this looks more like a terracotta kind of color here. Can you see this one over here? So we're back to our terracotta color. And it's going to be fading down into a much darker color down here. So we're just going to do a light color here, down in through here, still keeping it real light. This will all get really dark, but we're just going to go ahead and fill in with some, and this will be like a nice bounced light. So we're just going to keep this light right in through here. Okay, so we've got a nice base color to get started with. Remember, circles, we don't want to actually start getting too much of a texture. We're picking up a texture of the paper anyway. Okay, so here we go, up in here, and then it's going to get dark, and then we've got this really nice light little shift right there. We don't want to lose that, so we need to make sure to kind of keep that nice lightness there. That's kind of a pinky color back here. So we're gonna be working that with a nice little pink. This is again my blush that I've picked up, and And a little blush back in here. Hey, you are being a bad kitty back there. I'm going to work it down into here, into this. And again, this'll get all dark and all fade out. But we'll get started on those colors later. And let's see. So we'll get some of this blush color up in here, because up in the eyebrows we have a lot more blood up in the eyelids color. But that does kind of fade in, so let's get a little darker over here. Let's get some terracotta. See how it kind of fades into this purple over here? So let's get a little more terracotta worked into here, so it's not quite such a harsh one. This one is fine. Let's see, let's work a little bit of the terracotta on this side here. Oh, that's looking a lot better. Okay, and let's work a little terracotta over here. Now I don't want to do too many steps. Remember, we want to start with light, and then we want to work our way slowly there. Sneak up on our darks. So over here on this side, we don't want to forget our other eye. So we've got some terracotta over here. Okay. And some definite browns, terracotta, brownish reds down in here. Okay, and then let's come underneath here. Now I have coffee phlegm. I'm not sure which is better, yawning or coffee phlegm. Okay, bring it on up here. So it kind of fades out. Got a nice little light spot here, so we don't want to get too dark. And let's switch back to our pinks here. See our pinks right here on this edge, and then we're going to get down into the reds over here. So we want our pinks out here, up here, on this lip here, and we want some pinks up here on this lip. Okay, and then we've got just a little bit of red over in here. And a little bit of red on the upper lip here. Doom, 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 doom. And now I'm missing that, okay. And now I'm going back in with the terracotta. So I want to keep this nice and reddish, and eventually I'll be putting purples and blues and even greens in here to help take this down a little bit. Okay, but remember, I don't want to go too fast too quickly, and working the shadows in there. Okay, remember, start big areas, and then you start working towards the little areas. Okay, so I can do one or two things at this point. I can stop and actually water her face and let that dry and work on another area, and that does not conflict, so I can see what's going on. And then once she's dry, then I can actually, her face is dry, then I can come back. I think that's what I'm going to do so I can see what's going on. Let's go ahead and see how we're doing. Sometimes, and this is a secret that most artists probably won't tell you, sometimes I have to do a face a couple of times, a portrait a couple of times, especially when it's a watercolor like this, before I get it exactly the way I want it. Might have to take a couple shots at it. If it's an acrylic or an oil painting, that's a little different because it's a different kind of medium. It's a little bit more of a forgiving medium, and so I can, paint over it. Watercolors is not that that forgiving. Okay, so we start at the lights with our water and we work outward. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Blending, working the water. Moving it around. And if you've got an area where it feels like it's too much, you can blot it with your paper. Okay. Burp. Hi, babe. Okay. Now, in some areas, as you'll see, where I'm trying to actually preserve my whites, I don't actually touch it with the water at all. Did you see that I actually started at that white spot and just worked my way out? I just wanted to actually work my way away from that. I started there and just worked my way out. But here, I didn't even let the water touch that. Okay, now I'm going to come back in and actually pull that away from there because I'm trying to save this little white area as much as I can, but I don't want it to be, a sharp edge. Oh, now I gotta, there we go. Got that off of there. Okay, so now I'm going to come back into this dark area here and I'm going to blend it towards this. Now I've got a sharp edge here. I don't want to blend it that way. I want to keep that sharp edge. So I'm going to let that actually not head towards this side. Right? Does that make sense? Working up towards the lips. Okay. Okay. So I'm good with that for right now. No, I didn't touch these areas here. I'm going to let those actually dry, and then I'll actually come in with those later. And that's fine. And I didn't touch the lips yet because everything else is wet here. I'm going to let that actually dry a little bit, and then I'll come back in and touch those in a few minutes. And we'll be working on those. Yes, honey. Do I need to open the door so you can go out? Mom? Okay, so let's start addressing this area over here. Now, when I first saw this image, there was a bunch of let me let her out so that I can actually have a conversation. Do you want out? No. You get in your chair. You get in your chair. There was a bunch of vertical lines through here, and so I'm going to be putting in some lines through here so that I have something that gives me something that emulates the molding that's right there, so I can do darkened lights without really having to worry about what's really there. So it's almost like a color field type of thing without actually being something. Yes. So what I can do here is I have, this is an all-surface graphite, which is a sketch and wash, and I don't think I've ever actually used this thing. Let's give this a shot and see what this. Sweetie, you're being a bad kitty. Yes, you are. I don't believe it's time for me to hold you. No, I don't believe it is. So let's see how well this works. Let's see if this is something I want to use. No, you're being a bad girl. I don't think so. I don't think I want to use that on this. So, okay, we're not going to use that. I have made the proclamation. Although that's kind of interesting. I want to think about that for a later date. You're being a bad girl. You're going to get in so much trouble. Okay, so what am I going to want to use? I guess I could just use a black. Or, let's see. How about this color? That might be kind of interesting. She's really orange, and that's kind of a purple. That might be kind of interesting. Let's start out with some of this. Okay, so we're going to start out with some of this. So, now just because I start with this color doesn't mean I'm going to finish with this color. It just means that I can actually have something to get started with. And gives me something to kind of carve her out with. So that she will pop out of this image. Okay, now, there we go, first line. So remember, the background is just always as important as your foreground. So don't neglect what you've got going on. So I'm going to start light and then I'm going to go darker. And the nice thing is because of this darkness, it will actually, you know, make these little hair things stand out so much more. Okay, and then I can push the darkness on this, and that's what will make these things kind of sparkle. So when you need to actually make things seem whiter than the white of the paper, that's how you do it. You make things darker around it. So I will come back in with actually more colors than what this is, and I will actually add more colors on of more layers of colors on this as I work. So I won't make you stand around and watch me actually do the entire background, but that's what I'm probably going to be doing. Okay, so let's